Hey, what's up? If you're here, then you came for the breakdowns, and I'm going to get into it. Starting with US30, first thing I notice is this level that we just broke, this high that was broken, and I'm going to mark off the wicks because this is where the rejection, this way we actually know where the rejection came from. And this is the zone that we are kind of trading above right now. And that is on the weekly. And so you could see from here, we are basically in an uptrend, right? And price could come somewhere around here to continue to go up and stuff like that, right? Potentially. That being said, let's go down to the daily to see if prices are actually even considering coming down. And first thing I noticed, okay, we have this structure that was formed that we can see. Oops, why did it stop? Anyway, and right now we have made a higher low. The expectation now is for price to continue like this. And if you notice, so this is our current low. Here is the high we just broke. And as well, this is our most recent high. And I want to actually go ahead and draw where the rejections came. This is where the wicks are. And as you can see, price is in between this zone right now. But how I'm looking at it is also, if we want to draw up a Fibonacci from our low to our high that we made, we could see that we do have our rejections off the 61.8 followed. Look, we have a doji here. What is this? Shooting star, morning star, one or the other. And then the doji is followed up by an engulfing. Then we have a pullback and then an engulfing again. And this is the daily chart, so momentum has shifted to the upside. Then we had yesterday, which had a really strong pullback, but then still we came and closed above this zone. So let's go to the 4 hour and look at it. And we could see that right now, currently, this is our structure. We have, this is the lowest point price came before breaking these highs right here and making this high. Then we came here, made a higher low, came here, made a higher high. Now it's like we have to make a higher low to continue this uptrend. As you can see, we did that. Now if prices to come and break this low, then we could see price start trading down to potentially our support. Now notice at the end of market close, we had this sell-off from this level, from our highs that we made on the daily. Then we tapped into I'm not really seeing, so like I took this trade earlier, right? and I targeted this demand zone for my profit. So as you can see, we crashed through it. Excuse me. We crashed through it, but we weren't able to hold below it and break these lows. And we came up and we actually ended up, wicking inside the zone, then engulfed. Price shot up from there and got back to that resistance that we were under. Now you could see price is still trading under the close of yesterday. Oh no, okay. Oh, so I'm lying. So here we have this line is our resistance, right? When we're heading up, that was our first level of resistance, but we actually closed above it on the 4 hour for the day, right? This was the last candle of the day. That's why this red line is here, because it signals or it identifies the close of the previous day. That's how I have my trading view settings, and you could go in your settings and make those your settings as well. But then we had price come down under again. Now we have price trading back above. But here's my thing. So because we have the Fibonacci drawn up, and we could see this on the daily, the rejections, you could already say technically this is a position, and you could target these levels here. If price does want to continue to make higher highs, we could target these extension levels. Now, I'm not no Fibonacci expert. That's just how I understand it. And usually, like with other pairs, not an indice, but with other pairs, or even when we have like previous structure to go off of, you could kind of do something like that. For example, like here, right, we had our low, then our break of structure to the upside, and you can see here price didn't even pull back to where the Fibonacci had. It just started continuing to push higher. Maybe that wasn't the best example either because of that. But like, where can we see? Okay, so for example here, if you notice when we came down, there was this kind of zone of consolidation. We made a high, and then we came down and made a higher low, and then we came and broke that high, and then you can see here, so you can mark it from the low to the high, and it's like, where's price gonna pull back, and where could it retrace to, right? So obviously you don't just use the Fibonacci, but here you could see price also even tapped into demand. So the whole thing in trading, we want to build up multiple confluences to give us confidence in understanding which way the market is going. So we not only tapped into this demand and then rejected it with that wick right there, then we had the engulfing candle. And so from there, you would have entered a trade right here, stop loss below. Oops. Stop loss below the engulfing candle, and then you could target the extensions. And you could see that price would have got really close to hitting TP, so close to the point you would have just probably just closed it. But also, like, at this point, we could kind of easily have targeted this one given previous structure, and then held out, maybe took some profit off the table and held out for that last extension. So, and then if we look over here now, so I actually don't want to, okay, so because we don't have any structure that really lines up with any of these extensions, I'm not really going to use it here on this time frame. And so I'm going to close that, and we're still going to leave this because this is where price rejected, or where it turned around rather, and this is the zone in which it did that, it made that decision. And then as you can see, we're tapping back into it, so we're going to keep that and take the Fibonacci off because I actually might just use it on the 4 hour. So because on the 4 hour, this is kind of a better and more recent structure. We could see the low here, the high here, right? And then this is why I took the buys earlier, because I seen, or actually no, I took sales to this level, but this is why I would have got out of here, is because of the demand level, and seeing that this is basically a discounted price, right? That's kind of what the Fibonacci shows as a 61% discount. So a lot of people are just going to buy just because price got there, simply off of that alone. Some people don't even need to see the structure. It's like, oh, price pulled back to the 61.8, I'm getting in, because they heard, oh, it's the golden ratio. But yeah, so price did pull back there, and then we had an engulfing candle off of that, and it engulfed the body. I do want to better my understanding of engulfing candles, but how I see this is this is the 4 hour. We did have this rejection off of this zone. We basically took out this liquidity, and then now we're starting to push back up, and we came and closed back above the 31.8. So from here, I could see this is a more realistic position, and that's like a 1 to 2. Not a bad risk to reward if I was going to look to trade this. However, with US30, I kind of only like to trade it during New York session and see what it's doing, because even like earlier today, the trades I took, like we had this bullish push up, and you might have thought, well, price is going to keep buying, but what ended up happening was once we tapped into this zone, we just fell. And the way I like to look at it is because I trade on the lower time frames usually during session. I like to mark up the higher time frames and understand what's going on, so that it gives the lower time frames more context and clarity. And yeah, so that's just kind of how I like to mark up my chart. So I am going to leave this here just so I don't forget, like even on the lower time frame, because I trade on MetaTrader, so I just mark all this up to see it. I'll click over from it to see it on trading view, but I tend to actually do my trades on MetaTrader, and even some different type of lower time frame, kind of like marking up structure on the lower time frame and stuff. But yeah, this will definitely give me insight. Like for example, if we go to the 15-minute, let's just go to the 15-minute. Already we could see, okay, what's happened here. We failed to break this high. Now we're starting to push down. Okay, same thing here, right? We came, made a lower low, or no, I'm sorry. We came, made a higher low, boom, pushed up, lower high. Now we're pushing down, and if we break below here, we would essentially make a lower low, and then we would wait for price to retest highs and get in for sales to continue the trend, right? But right now, look, see, okay, so boom, lower high, higher low. So now people will probably be trying to take buys, and then they would have been faked out. There was no real indication anyway. Like there was, I mean, you did have this doji followed by this engulfing off of the support, but just it's like you got to be careful with using those higher time frame levels as your exact levels on the lower time frames, unless it lines up with certain levels on the lower time frame when you're looking at the structure on the lower time frame. Like if we look at it right here with what we immediately see, we don't see any reason for this, for price to kind of just like stop right here, because even this is not exactly lined up with it, right? We see like we kind of tapped into it, but then we bounced off of it. Here we tapped under it. Like which one would you use? We have this actually from the daily, and it was very far back when you're looking at it on a 15-minute time frame. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of why you don't just enter um because price gives you this kind of move on a daily level, right? But yeah, so people would have got faked out. What happened? Price immediately stopped out anyone who like put their stop losses under that candle. Then it pulled back up into our previous lower high, rejected, held below this supply basically, or you could say area of resistance. And this is basically how I would trade like real time during the session, but I'm not going to be like really caring about all this right now because it's out of session for me. But yeah, so clearly then boom, price continues to go down after making this higher low. People might have thought it was going to go up, but no, because on the higher time frame, price could still retest. It could still go lower technically, and then when you pair that with the fact that time, it's not the time that the New York session is open and that this pair would be having its most volume, these setups aren't going to like hold like that. Now if I seen that during session, maybe, but still not really, because we didn't break this high right here. We started pushing down. um I mean, I don't know, it would just depend too. um like during the session, it's different because I'm actually looking to take a trade. Right now I'm not looking to take a trade. So and like just kind of elaborating on it, like I could tell like if this kind of movement was happening, like this is chop, this is consolidation, then it drops down, doesn't even break this low, and then starts coming back up to test these highs again. Like what is that? That's consolidation. Price could just probably trade sideways around level of this level of support, because it is support. We are over it right now, so it is support. And then we also are over the close of the day, so we have these two levels of interest right here that could price want to just fluctuate around until the actual session, and then price will start taking out those levels of liquidity that have been formed through all this consolidation, right? So that's just why I like to mark this up and keep it in mind, but I'm probably not actually going to look to enter trades on US30 until later. But yeah, so as you can see, we had this push and now we have a lower low, and then now we have price tapping into the new level of resistance we made with our lower high that we created. If I could get whatever, let's just move that down here, right? That's kind of how it formed. Boom. And price isn't even respecting it, so yeah, I don't like to trade US30 during this time, and I wouldn't. And that's why I stop at the 4 hour, and I'm probably going to stop at the 4 hour for all the other pairs. This is just my pre-market analysis, trying to go ahead and get it out the way, so in the morning I'm already ready. Now let's go ahead and move over to gold. Gold had an interesting day too, sold off. Let's go to the weekly. Okay, gold is kind of in a similar position in a sense. We're breaking like some all-time highs here, right? So this level is still holding from all the way back. When was this? In 2020. But it's still holding, so and well, it was holding for the longest time. Now we're actually kind of, we broke out past it, but then the wick came down really hard. But we're still going to go ahead and mark that up on the weekly. And sometimes things could look similar, but do not expect pairs to do the exact same thing. Like, just make sure you're trading everything separately and not just like, unless they literally have some type of correlation, I mean. But okay, so we could look at the daily, right? And from what we see on the daily, we obviously see we have this uptrend. Higher high here, higher low here, higher high here. And so far we have a higher low. Now the expectation is very similar, just like with US30, that price is going to keep going up. But one thing I want to do here is just like I did with US30, is draw this Fibonacci and kind of see if anything lines up with where it is, where price is currently. And okay, and the reason I didn't put the high here is because this was all wick. And if you look, price did pull back, tapped into our demand, and this happens all the time on multiple time frames. You just gotta mark it up and then know where you're at and what time it is, and you'll see it on the lower time frames play out in respects to what's going on in the higher time frames too. It's just hopefully we could get together and I could show you guys my trades. I'll try to make something for that, but this is just supposed to be an analysis video anyway. So yeah, price did tap into this level, create this doji, then engulfed, and then this would have been your trade. That would have been your indication. Stop loss below here, take profit up here, and so far, I mean, you would have gotten your 1-to-1. Now you're waiting for your 1-to-1.5 and potentially a 1-to-2 if you target these highs, or even the 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 trend is that we would break that high. So you could target this extension essentially kind of confidently, right? And as we can see, gold is trading above where that entry would have been right now. It's having a hard time getting any lower, but it did start trading down actually. And today I had an interesting day with gold. I kind of didn't look at gold yesterday, so I wasn't ready to trade it today, but I traded it just off the 5-minute structure, which was interesting. Quick scalp. But yeah, so this is kind of where I see gold going. I would go down to the 4-hour, but honestly, I don't see a reason to. I could see price continuing to push down too, because we have reached our kind of 0 point high. This is where the bodies actually started. This is where the body closed. This is where the body opened, and these are where the bodies formed in this area. So now that price is holding kind of below it, I wouldn't be surprised if price started selling off. Yeah, gold was pretty quick actually, and I want to just jump over to the DXY now, because not only, okay, we could see, no, okay, I'm not seeing any clear trend lines that I would want to draw up, but what I do notice, right, is going to the weekly on the DXY, we could see that we've been holding this support for the longest time. Just kind of like how gold was holding the resistance, we've been holding support here. And now that we've gotten here again, we've created this bullish indication here, which would be the doji followed by our engulfing candle. Now we can go to the daily, and we can see that price has broken past these highs, but is now trading below it. And so the idea is that price will come down somewhere and not break this low, before bouncing up and continuing to go up. So we just want to kind of watch what the DXY does. If it starts trading down, though, I do expect to see gold go higher, and that lines up perfectly with what we're seeing on the charts. How we have potentially the DXY going down in the short term, and gold is going up to potentially make new highs. Now the DXY and US30 don't have the same correlation as gold. It's just USD pairs. Because like for today, like we had a big sell-off on US30, right? It did come back and buy up, but remember it sold off first. And then gold today, now it wants to be, now my data is being slow. Okay, that's great. Wow, this is already going to be 30 minutes. Thank you. I don't know what even just happened. Can I get my charts back? All right, cool. Yeah, see, gold kind of didn't know what to do today, right? It shot up, came down there. Let's look at the 4 hour. To make it clearer. But yeah, we can see it kind of came up, but then rejected and came down. Now we're heading back up. So, excuse me. Also, I'm noticing a trend. So maybe look for that to break out, and then this move to play out. Who knows? It could go either way. Always, right? It's always just, that's why I like to mark this up and then not go too far down on time frames, because I know when it's actually time to trade, things could be a little different. This is just something to keep in mind to help, and we also got to keep structure in mind, right? We just made a lower high, so where could price go? I mean, if it does want to continue down, it would hold under here. Or, again, why I'd like to wait till session, price could come up, break this, tap into these levels, and then come down, or like just take out liquidity and then start coming down, because it technically could still be a downtrend if we make this move right here. Why? Because if we didn't break this high, then technically the trend is, it kind of reshapes itself. If this is what happens, if we do take out this kind of, I'm pulling my cursor, but it won't let me because of all the damn drawings. But yeah, that's what this liquidity, this could be liquidity. So it all depends what's going on during the time he wants to trade. Fudge. Didn't mean to do that. I want this little box on. It's just trying to show you guys kind of how I look at the market when I am trading. But right now, this is just kind of where I see it's going. I don't want to like make this video a whole 30 minutes even, or like I just wanted it to be 30 minutes really, so I guess I got like a minute left. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop right there and let that kind of just be the analysis and the breakdown, and probably will review my trades tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not really sure how my trading day is going to go tomorrow. I know I'm going to trade. I just don't know how I'm going to, if I'm going to like do my, like if I'm going to go live or what. So I'll let anyone in my Discord know. In the meantime, hopefully this gave you some insight. And I know I said I was going to do GU and GJ, but this video, like I said, is already 30 minutes. That's how long I kind of planned on doing. And then I also did say in my Discord that that was a maybe. So I guess that was a no.